Heartaches on long breaks, I learn from my mistakes. Hope you do too. Heart turns and slow burns, the wounded heart still learns. Hope you do too. I'm gonna learn me my lesson and move on. I'm gonna keep on loving till the love is gone. 'Cause I can see that something's weak and somehow strong, and I do it all alone. Did you steal traps and throwbacks? I try to trace my tracks. Hope you do too. Long range and short change, I find everything strange. Hope you do too. I'm gonna learn me my lesson and move on. I'm gonna keep on loving till the love is gone. 'Cause I can see that something's weak and somehow strong, and I do it all alone. Did you? High hopes and short ropes, I try to change my scope. Hope you do too. Strong nights and fist fights, I'm down by the broad lights. Hope you are too. I'm gonna learn me my lesson and move on. I wanna keep on loving till the loving's gone. I'm gonna learn me my lesson and move on. I'm gonna keep on loving till the loving's gone. I'm gonna learn me my lesson and move on. I'm gonna keep on loving till the loving's gone. 'Cause I can see that something's weak and somehow strong, and I do it all alone. Did you? Did you? Did you?
Hi, I'm Jimmy with Professional Home Staging and Design, and for over 15 years we've been helping real estate agents, homeowners, and investors make more money selling homes in the Raleigh area. For a minimum investment, you get a maximum return with home staging. It's proven that homes sell in quicker time and for more money. So again, we are Professional Home Staging and Design, professionalhomestaging.com.
Hi, my name is Adam Schneider, and I'm with Oakwood Lending. You can reach us at oakwoodlending.com. And I've been with TRIA since 2012. I'm located in Raleigh, and I've bought over 150 houses, so I've got plenty of experience to help you if you need a second set of eyes. When we do our loans, we don't require a loan application fee. We rarely require appraisal. We don't charge draw fees on it. We have a quick turnaround time, usually responding within 24 hours. We're okay.
Not sure what's happening here. Well,
Hi, my name is Al Kirk, and I have been a member of TRIA for about 2 weeks now. And thus far, the mentoring, networking, and education has really inspired me to become the best real estate investor that I could possibly be. I've joined TRIA to network and to find investors to help me grow as an individual and professionally. So I'm looking for networking and also mentorship. I've studied real estate investing for about 20 years, but now just recently, the past couple of months, I've actually just dove head first into real estate investing and started just doing what I know I need to do, put aside my fears and just go at it. So far, I've done a couple deals with mortgage notes. So I own a couple mortgage notes, and I'm now venturing into wholesaling. So in the past couple of weeks, I've been doing that and building my business to be successful as a business in wholesaling. So far, I have a couple of people on my buyers list, and currently in the process negotiations with a few sellers, maybe about 3 sellers. So I think I'm doing pretty good, starting out. And since I've got rid of my fears and started diving right in, I think I'm doing pretty well for where I'm at right now. So if there's any TRIA members that wish to be a part of my buyers list, please feel free to contact me through email, whatever I provide for you. Just give me your preference and the area you're looking to invest, and we'll help you out. In my professional career, actually, I am a data scientist, so I am a big numbers guy, with analytics, statistics, building predictive models and algorithms for all of artificial intelligence. So, I love doing that, and I see opportunities where I can marry that into real estate investing and making a successful career out of investing. So, those are my 2 passions thus far, and I'm looking to continue to do real estate investing for as long as I can, and to build cash flow and to grow wealth. And being a part of TRIA really means a lot to me to help me reach my goals. And one thing I like about TRIA is meeting diverse people from different backgrounds in real estate, maybe private lenders to real estate agents and accountants, just all aspects of the business. So I like that aspect to be able to network with all of you guys, and knowing that if I have a problem, when I run into a problem or issue during one of my investing ventures, that there's somebody out there that has an answer to my problem, and having that comfort, is great, especially as I venture out myself and getting out of my shell and going head first into real estate investing. So if you want to get in contact with me, please contact me at Al Kirk, ALKIRK, at Kirk, KIRK, Enterprises, LLC.
Heartaches on long breaks, I learn from my mistakes. Hope you do too. Heart turns and slow burns, the wounded heart still learns. Hope you do too. I'm gonna learn me my lesson and move on. I'm gonna keep on loving till the love is gone. 'Cause I can see that something's weak and something's wrong, and I do it all alone. Did you steal tracks and throwbacks? I tried to trace my tracks. Hope you do too.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to TRIA 360, where we span the globe to bring you all the newest things in real estate that you haven't heard of before. Tonight is super exciting. If you have been looking for a way to augment your real estate during your pandemic situation, this is something you can do in addition to your rehabs, your flips, your landlording, your wholesale, whatever you're doing. This is something to add to it, where not only can you make some easy mailbox money by just sitting at your computer, but you can also help people. So you're going to hear about that in just a minute. A couple quick announcements. We have, as you know, if you've been coming to these meetings, we are waiting and hoping for the day that we can press flesh and meet in person again and shake hands and do deals and make buddies and hang out and eat. That was always a favorite part of it. But we can't for now, so we are rocking and rolling here on Zoom. We have a lot of great digital content, but the question that you are asking is, how do we network? Great question, glad you asked. For one thing, right now, if you want to do anything, if you have who's got what, if you have a deal to offer, if you have something you need, we'll let you say it real quick right now if you put us a note in the chat. Oh, heck, if you just had a new grandbaby and want to tell us, we'll let you do that as well. So put us a note in your chat. But what about when we're not in this meeting? Well, we have 2 Facebook pages. So if you've liked our TRIA Facebook page, Triangle Real Estate Investors Association, that's awesome. But you need to join the second one, which is the Triangle Real Estate Investors Association networking group on Facebook. There are tons of deals going down every day. People are offering and asking for all kinds of things. It's really active, so definitely join there. And there was, I don't know what the little glitch was going on with my, with our screen show, slideshow tonight. But you did see that we do member spotlights. You send us a member spotlight. We'll rotate those throughout the meetings. We play one every single meeting. So you've joined TRIA, what next? You know, don't just join. You got to make the most of your membership. Get involved, volunteer. For one thing, turn your camera on at meetings, because when we get back to live meetings, if we haven't seen your face on here, we might just see your name on there. But when we get to a meeting and see you there, we aren't going to know who Hector Franco is, you know? Show us your face. We want to see you. We want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us. We want to be able to recognize you when we meet in person. So, so make a member spotlight. Get on the Facebook page. It's, you know, it's not exactly the same as being in person, but guys, it's pretty darn good. It ain't bad. It's working. We're making the best of a situation. And, you know, one of the best things to come out of it is this new series that we started, the TRIA 360, where we are bringing you this digital content, which, by the way, this segment is going to stay digital even when we go back to in-person meeting. And we're trying to bring you things that we don't normally present, that you don't normally hear about. We have other board meetings on the call tonight as Jackie Ortiz, Leslie Ortiz and Jackie Richards, sorry. We would like to say a quick note about Chuck Jurgens. He ended up in the emergency room this week, but he's doing better, so keep him in your thoughts, please. Jackie and Leslie, is there anything you want to say?
Just welcome to all of the any new members that we may have on today. I was just scanning the list, and I hope I get the name right, but Anshal D, welcome aboard. And if you're new, I want to put your name in the chat. We'd love to do a shout out for you. That's it for me.
I just wanted to remind everybody of the wire meeting on Thursday. You heard me say it last night, but it's going to be a good one because it's the pilot project finale. So if you want to hear all the ins and outs and the numbers and what they did and how everything turned out, then tune in 12:30 meeting. It's wire. And of course, because we're on Zoom, we're not going to make the guys dress up.
Yeah, these days, everyone's a woman, everyone lives in Fayetteville, everyone's a new investor, everyone's experienced. Y'all, you can come to any of our subgroups. We have 10 meetings a month. Come to any of them. You don't have to be a woman. And what Leslie mentioned is our pilot program where we had a class of 13 students who actually bought a house, rehabbed it, and sold it, making a great profit. I won't spoil it and tell you. You can watch the video and learn for yourself, but it's going to be great. So without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Bob and let him tell you how this meeting's going to run. As always, if you have questions, put them in the chat and we'll ask Bob at the end. Bob, take her away.
Hello, and it's great to be here. I have to say I love the start to this. And am I on screen? I don't know if
You are.
Okay. So anyway, I'm thrilled to be here, and I think it's really interesting doing these new virtual meetings. I do miss meeting people in person. That's a part, the informal conversation you get to have. But I think we can all accomplish what we need to accomplish, even the networking realm. Just have to make a little more effort. It's not, you're just not necessarily going to randomly run into people. And I have to say, you're with a great group, and I think the innovation I just heard about, where you had 13 people get together, buy a place, be involved, and then go through that experience and make some money at the end, which is just a nice bonus. I think that's amazing. Wow, that's really innovative and great. So I would just say you're with a great group. And of course, the Southeast has been for a long time, like a couple of decades now, a growing area of the country, a great place to invest. And just my prediction would be you guys are just going to see more and more people moving down, because people like myself, until recently a resident of New York City, like recently being March, people are moving out of the major cities. I didn't want to be in an apartment building or a condo building rather with 330 condominiums and 4 elevators. To me, that didn't seem like a great environment. And so I moved, we had a second house in Puerto Rico, so we moved down here. But I think you're going to see a lot of traffic coming in. So I think it's really a great time to be a real estate investor. I think you're going to find some amazing deals coming up. And I've been an investor for a long time. I've been an investor since 1989 when I started out sitting in a room like you guys are doing and learning about real estate. And I've been through the ups and the downs and everything else. And now is the time when you're going to find amazing deals coming up. It may take a little time. There'll be good deals now, but as time goes by, they're going to be absolutely amazing deals as, unfortunately the economic pain sets in and people have to offload properties. You guys are going to be the recipients of great properties. So what I've got for you is a business that I think is a really good fit with all that. We do a business called overages, and overages is, you'll learn about it, so the presentation is about, but it's essentially a cash business where you're providing a service, making big lump sums of cash. And just strategically speaking, what you want to do right now is build up your cash reserves, because there are going to be amazing deals as time goes by. And I think they'll probably last good 2 years. You're going to see REOs as foreclosures happen. You're going to see just sellers that need to sell, want to sell, have to sell. So it's a really great time to be building up your cash reserves. So what I'm here to show you is something that I'm using to build my cash reserves up. It's a business I've been doing for years. I absolutely love it. I get to help people and make money, and it's something with plenty of room for you. So I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney since 1995, so that makes me naturally cautious. So in the nature of natural caution, what I've done is we're going to play a recorded body of this presentation, because being in Puerto Rico, the internet is generally good, but not always 100%. So I gave the body of the webinar is recorded. I will be here the whole time, picking up questions in the chat box. And at the end, I'll come on live and answer questions. So I'm not abandoning you in any way. So don't feel lonely. I just want to make sure that you get the content, because that's the most important thing. And I have something really terrific for you that I think is really going to help. So I'm going to ask now if Brett, my AV producer, if you could play the body of the webinar, and everybody, I'll be here answering questions, and we'll be here at the end answering questions live. So Brett, if you can take it away, and I'll be here answering questions.
Hi, it's Bob Diamond. It is great to be here with you. I have something really fabulous for you. I have something called overages, which is going to help you generate lump sums of cash very quickly and very easily with minimal investment. And that, my friend, is a really important thing, especially in today's economy and the conditions that we're operating under today. You need to be able to operate and generate lump sums of cash. You need to do it quickly, and you need to do it with minimal investment. This is not a time to be putting out a lot of cash and a lot of money, this is time to be making money. And that's exactly what overages are about. I'm so excited to tell you about this. It is absolutely going to amaze you. Now, I'm probably familiar to you. You've probably seen me on NBC or CBS or NPR or Fox or one of the other networks. I'm consulted by those networks as an expert in real estate and real estate related businesses. And this is a real estate related business that is really going to get you excited and absolutely blow you away. So that you get the most out of this, I just make a really simple request, and this is for you, not for me. And that's to pay attention. Cut out any distractions. If you're looking at Facebook or you're dealing around in your email while we're talking, or if you're looking at your text messages, you're going to miss things and you're not going to really get the full benefit of what I have to talk about. Because the point of this really is whether this is something you should adopt into your business, something that makes sense for you today, and something that's going to give you cash that you probably could use or need right now, because that's just the condition of the world right now. And also getting ready for the oncoming avalanche of opportunity that is on its way. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, about how this shutdown of the country is going to create enormous opportunities, especially in real estate. Opportunities we haven't seen since 2009, and probably bigger than the 2009 opportunities, because we didn't shut down the economy in 2009. So anyway, I just make that request. Get rid of your distractions, turn off your Facebook feed. Don't look at your email, stay off Twitter, stop twittering around, and don't look at your text just for the next hour or so, because I want to give you everything that there is to know about this business, the good, the bad, and the in-between, so that you can make an intelligent decision as to whether you want to get involved in this business. I think it's a great business. Obviously, it's not going to be for everybody, but I think for most of you, it's going to make a lot of sense. But the only way you're going to be able to figure that out is by paying attention. So for your own help, not mine, pay attention so that we can really get you all the information. And my pledge to you is that I'll give it to you straight. I'll give you the good, I'll give you the bad, I'll give you the in-between. And with that said, prepare to be amazed. I've seen a lot in my 28 years as an investor and my 23 years as an attorney, but I've never seen anything as simple, as profitable, and most importantly, as big as this overages opportunity. And best of all, anyone can quickly take advantage of this. You don't have to be an attorney. You don't have to have a special background. You don't have to have 10 years in real estate. You just need to be able to understand and implement a pretty straightforward system. And this is something that's perfect for the world we're in today that's been affected so much by coronavirus, because you can work this business from home. You can work it by internet and phone and email. This isn't something where you go visit people in their house or meet them anywhere. This is something that's done by phone, email, and internet, which is wonderful. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in deals available right this second. This isn't something that might happen or could happen or that we think will happen. These are things that have happened. The cash is there and it's just waiting for you to go and take it. So it's available right this second. And you can make cash very quickly with minimal investment. And by quickly, this is a pipeline business. You should be able to get your first deals under contract within 30 days. And then within 3 to 4 months, be cashing your first checks. And as fast as you load them in, as fast they'll come out. You load one in a week, on average, you'll get one out a week. So you can make cash pretty quickly, and most importantly, very steadily. And you're not investing money. These are not deals that you're buying. You're not borrowing money for them. Your credit isn't involved in any way, and your risk is absolutely minimum because you're not putting cash out, which is really important right now. And here's what this is based upon. When properties are sold at property tax foreclosure auctions, money that's left over is owed to the former owner. And here's the catch. The former owners have to know the money is there, and they have to ask for it. If they don't ask for it, they don't get it. And for most people, they have no idea there's any money left over. And that's because when someone's losing their house at tax sale, they're so stressed out about where are they going to live. They've got damaged credit because, let's face it, they couldn't afford to keep their house and pay the taxes. They have a lot of other credit defaults going on as well. So they've got bad credit, and they're just worried about, how am I going to get moved into a new place? Where can I live? Can I take the family dog? How am I going to tell the kids? All these things. So they have no idea the money is there, and therefore they never ask for it. And the sad thing about that, when they don't ask, they're not going to get the money, and the government doesn't really help. They're not actively looking for former property owners who lost their house at tax sale, where the property sold for more than the taxes. And that's what this is based upon, when properties sell for more than the taxes. And that happens pretty much every time there's a structure on the property. If you have a house or some usable building, it's going to sell for more than the taxes. The tax bill is typically 3 to 4 years worth of taxes. That's going to be typically 10 to 15% of the property value. And when properties go to tax sale, they sell for 70 to 80% of their value. So, you're talking about taxes that might be 15% of the property value versus the sale price at the auction, which if it's anything with a building on it, you're talking about 70 to 80% of the value. So there's a big spread between what it sells for versus what's owed on taxes. So the government ends up holding that money, and the government's passive about it. They don't actively look for people. They don't send the sheriff out to track you down and hand you a check. I could see them stop, wait, don't move. Yes, what? Here's your check. Things that would never happen. So that doesn't happen. But to be clear, if people ask, they do get the money. It's just like the IRS. If you file your income taxes and check off the box, send me my refund, and you send in your tax return, they send you your refund. It's not a big deal. But if you don't ask, then you don't get the money. And that money eventually forfeits to the local government. Now, this varies by state, to be clear. In some states, the shortest states are 6 months. There are a couple states that will give you the money back permanently. Most states, though, are averaging 3 years. And for everybody who gets involved, I've done all the research. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney since 1995. So I've done all the research, and I have a chart that shows you in each state how long it is before the funds forfeit to the local government. And as attorneys, they teach us to look at words and word roots to really get to the core meaning of the word. And I'll teach you a legal word that's going to make you laugh, I promise. So there's a special legal word for when the money forfeits to the government. And let me see if you can guess the root word of this particular word. So the word is escheat. So can anybody guess the root of escheat? Yes, it's cheat. And I think that's such a great thing. It's the perfect word for it. The money escheats, and it goes to the government. It's forfeited permanently, by the way. This is not a temporary thing. Once that escheatment deadline hits, it's a statute of limitations. The money is gone. It belongs to the government, and you can't even apply for it. So the government doesn't actively help people. And we're talking about a lot of money. We're not talking a little bit of money. On an average day, 3,000 tax foreclosures are completed. And we're talking business days, obviously, Monday through Friday. There are 3,000 parcels of property sold at tax foreclosure every single day. That's all across the United States. And these sales are held in every county in the United States at least once a year. In bigger jurisdictions, sometimes weekly or monthly, because of the volume. But every county has to hold it at least once a year. And according to JP Morgan Chase, who did a study of this market, they said that tax foreclosures generate $13,698,630.14 each and every day. That's crazy. And that's on average. That's the total sales. Now, of course, all of that is not overages, but a couple $1 million a day is overages. So can you imagine being involved in a business where there's a couple $1 million a day coming to the system? Now, you might say, wait a minute, Bob, what's this got to do with me? I'm not losing my house at tax sale. Well, here's why this matters to you. You can get paid finder's fees of 30 to 40% of the money that you help recover as a reward for helping owners get their money. And I'm here to show you a business system that gets you those finder's fees. And wouldn't that be exciting to be able to get 30 to 40% of millions of dollars that's coming in each and every day? That's why this is such a big opportunity. And the other thing that I'll tell you is this is a system that is perfect for today, because the number of tax sales is going to increase without a doubt because of the economic turbulence. And on top of that, we already have more leads than we can deal with. So it's pretty amazing. So huge dollar potential, hundreds of millions of dollars in overages available right this second. So imagine the finder's fees that you can make, and also the help that you can give to people. Because this isn't a business that's just all about you. It's a business about helping people who've lost everything. They've lost their house at a tax sale. And that is a really devastating economic consequence to people. And especially since the ones that we're going to be getting are ones where they sold for more than the taxes. So obviously there's equity in there, and these people have lost everything. So you're going to help them get some of their money back, get some of their dignity back, and help them restart their life. So the right person for this is a person, and you know in your heart if you're this person, is a person who truly wants to help people and also wants to make a great living. really that's the right person for. It's a person who has both of those elements in your personality. If you really just want to make money and you're not interested in helping anybody, it's not really, this isn't really the business for you, I don't think. This is a business for people that want to help, number one, and want to make a lot of money for themselves and their family. And I think if you're just someone who's all about yourself, I'd rather not even teach you the business. I don't think it's the right business for you. So that would be one of those things that I would say, you can decide whether the business is for you or not. If you're really just all about yourself and you don't want to help anybody, go find a different business to do. If though you'd like a business where you make a lot of money and you really help people in a sincere and genuine way, getting their life restarted, then this is the perfect business for you. And this is perfect timing, especially for today, because you can work from home. Like I pointed out, this is done by phone, by email, and internet. You're providing a service. You typically are going to spend 8 to 10 hours on a deal and earn between $9,000 and $12,000. The reason I say it's a service and that's important, we're not buying these claims from people. We're not putting out money and buying the claim and negotiating with people. Instead, we're just offering our service to help them recover money that's owed to them. We go and we get the money, we bring it back to them, and they get the majority of it. And by the majority, we'll go over the numbers a little bit, but essentially you're going to take a finder's fee of 30 to 40%. For most people, it's a free country. You can take what you want, but 30 to 40% is what we do, and it works. And what's important about that is you're not putting out a lot of cash, which again, I think right now in our time is not the time to be putting out cash. It's time to be making cash. It's the time to be doing some work to make some money. You're going to be making effort to make money in this business, but you're not going to be putting out cash. So there's really no investment on your part. Typically for these deals, we're spending, $100 or less. And I'll explain as we go along, how we spend that money, where it goes, but part of it's just mail and things like that. It's pretty simple. So can you imagine spending $100 and having the potential to earn $9,000, $10,000, $12,000? That, my friend, is a good trade. And that's because we provide such a valuable service to people. And today it's perfect because people are worried about money, especially people sort of at the bottom of the economic pecking order. They're having a very tough time, and it's a scary time. You can't just pick up jobs, work as an Uber driver or go work in a restaurant to pick up some extra money. It's really not out there right now, and it's not going to be out there for the foreseeable future. These folks are going to be excited when they can hear they can get money, especially remember, we're talking to people who've lost their house at tax sale. So they're going to be pretty excited when they hear they can get some money. And you're talking significant amounts of money. And we look at deals that are $30,000 and up. So someone working with us is going to get $15,000 to $18,000 at a minimum in their pocket. And that's pretty exciting when someone's just lost their house at tax sale. So these folks will be eager to work with you and excited because they really need money now more than ever. And the former owners do not know about this. Let me be clear. The former owners have no idea money is available or how to ask for it, so they never ask. And the sad thing about this is they've lost their home, and then they're going to lose all the excess cash generated from the sale of their home, which is the equity in their house. And people ask me, well, Bob, why don't they know about it? People don't know about it because they don't go to the tax sale. They're not there watching their house get bought up by some bidder for pennies on the dollar. They're trying to figure out how to get moved. Why does U-Haul charge $7 for a box? How are they going to get together the down payment for an apartment or a house, or can they move in with their brother? They're really struggling with all those things, and they're not thinking about the house. And frankly, most people, I believe, think, well, the government sold my house, so I guess they just keep the money from it. And this is just a relatively obscure little corner of the world, so they just simply don't know that there could be any money left over. And because they don't know, they don't ask for the money, and it just eventually just marches off till escheatment and disappears and is gone forever. And most people, I guess fortunately in a way, don't ever know that they ever lost that much money, because if they ever knew, that would be like having a winning lottery ticket that you never cashed in. And this is pretty simple with some help. You need to know how to get lists of available monies. I'll show you how to do that with just an email. You need to know the unclaimed property laws. I know those. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney since 1995. I did research all across the country, so I know those laws. And for everybody who gets involved, I'll give you the information on a state-by-state basis, telling you how it works in each state, what the escheatment deadline is, et cetera. And you're also going to need some legal and business agreements and forms. I've drafted those for you. We've been active in this business since 2011. So as I like to say to my team, everything that can happen has happened to us, and matter of fact, happens a couple times a year. So whatever can attempt to go wrong does attempt to go wrong because we do such a volume of business. And, we're doing a couple hundred of these deals a year. So because of that, everything can happens. And what's great is that means that our business systems, our forms, and our processes are all powerful, they're strong, they're proven. And when you adopt them and use them, you can be successful without a lot of turbulence. And I love that this is within your reach. You don't need money to invest. That's not what this is about. This is about getting lists of money that's owed to people, reaching out, giving them good news, and then going and getting the money for them for a percentage. You don't need a loan or any credit. Again, most of these deals cost $100 or less to process. What you do need to know is how to find the lists, approach the people, and get the money. It's a simple knowledge business, and I'm here to provide that knowledge to those of you who get involved. And best of all, you help others and you make great profits. These are people who've lost everything and really need a helping hand, and that's what you're going to be providing. That's rewarding, and in our office, we call it doing well by doing good. And if you want to have an amazing business where you do really well yourself, you make lots of money, but you also do lots of good for other people, this is the perfect business for you. And you could do deals all across the United States. Now, here's an interesting fact. And remember, I promised I'd give you the good, the bad, and the in between. Here's a bad fact. Only 47 states give the money back. There are 3 scoundrel states that do not give the money back. Now, I'm from New York, and sadly enough, my home state of New York does not give the money back. They sell your house and they keep the change. Neither do Michigan nor Colorado. So those are the 3 states that do not give money back. They sell your house and they keep the change. It's really awful. That's a legislative problem. That's not something that I spend my time worrying about. You shouldn't spend your time either, just as a fact of life. For people that live in those states, it's fine. I mean, I had the biggest overage business of the country as far as I know. And I was operating out of New York. And I've since relocated during coronavirus. I relocated, but I was right in New York City. And Michigan, I don't know, they sell your house and keep the money. And Colorado, for whatever reason. I'm not sure what their rationale is for it really, because it's bad behavior, but that's what they do. But for us and for your concern, we do give you the best states to operate in. Obviously, there's some states with more overages than others, some with easier rules to deal with than others. So we give you the best states. So for everybody who gets involved, I'll give you the short list of best states based on our experience in the business, our research, and what we've come to learn since 2011, which is really just a big, big shortcut to success. I know that everybody here, isn't involved with tax sales, and this is what this is based upon. So let me give you an example so I can show you how this works based on a sort of real world example. Let me take out my handy dandy PowerPoint pen. And we're going to go with a nice blue pen. How's that? So this property was a property that my partners were looking at on a pre-tax sale basis. And nice looking house from the outside, right? Looks good, little brick ranch. On the inside, not as nice. This was a rental property that the tenant stopped paying, and the landlord and the tenant got into an enormous, long, very expensive battle. And the landlord essentially ran out of money. The tenant destroyed the place on the way out. And so this pretty looking house on the outside was a mess on the inside. The tenant had a dog that he must have never walked because the place was just reeked. The tenant took the toilets, which is bizarre. I don't know why you'd unbolt the toilets and take them, but the thing about that mattered, they were baby blue toilets. And as we discovered, you can't get matching baby blue toilets. It's like paint. If it's not the right, made at exactly the same time, it's not exactly the same color. So that meant the toilets, the vanities, and the tubs needed to all be replaced just because of the baby blue tubs. So anyway, we're talking to the property owner, and the property is worth around $200,000 in good condition. And the plan was to fix and flip it. Our math on that is we want to pay 65% of retail minus the fix-up cost. So the fix-up cost for this was $35,000. If we take a $200,000 property at 65%, we would want to pay $130,000 for it. And then we want to deduct the fix-up cost of $35,000. So our actual offer price would be $95,000. And that way we can make a profit. We'd have a $200,000 property. We'd pay $95,000 for it. We'd fix it up. We'd be into it for around $140,000, and we'd make a profit. Well, we couldn't come to terms with the owner. It just wasn't, he said, I paid more than that for it. And we said, I know, but that was before the dog was there. It was before, when you had toilets that matched and you didn't have to redo the bathrooms, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, couldn't come to terms. So the property continued to march towards tax sale. I guess the guy was so sick of it, he didn't pay the taxes. And at tax sale, a bidder paid $150,000. Now, I think that's too much to pay for this property, but people don't always see the inside of properties and it looked nice from the outside. So maybe he didn't realize how bad it was in the inside. Maybe he was an owner occupant and just wanted a house in that neighborhood and figured it was good enough. I don't know, but he paid $150,000. That's very common where people just pay prices that just are surprisingly high at tax sale. So anyway, so the taxes owed $10,000. And obviously I've rounded these figures just to make the math simple. So anybody flame me for that. I just wanted to make it simple, for example. So there's just rounded to the amounts. Anyway, property sells for $150,000 minus $10,000 in taxes they need to pay. So there's $140,000 overage left. And that's the money that's due to the former property owner. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because the government collects $150,000. They needed $10,000 to cover the taxes. So that's what they did. They paid themselves $10,000. Then the excess money is sitting there waiting for the former owner to come and get it. Simple, right? So what was interesting here was, since we've been in touch with the former owner, we called the former owner and said, hey, if we could still get you this $95,000 for the property, would you be interested? And the guy said, I lost the property. You know that. And I said, I know, but if we could still get you the money, say we get you $100,000, would you be interested? And he said, well, yeah, but I don't know how you're going to do this. And I think what he probably thought was, I'm an attorney. I think he probably thought, well, you'll go undo the tax sale and do fancy schmancy legal work and get the property back and blah, 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 and still get it for your price. That wasn't what I was doing, but that's probably what he thought. So I said, okay, great. I said, I will go work on this and see what I can do. So we went and we got the $140,000 overage, kept $40,000 for ourselves, which essentially was our profit margin on the flip. And we gave him the $100,000. That's the way this works. And I'm not saying it works necessarily with negotiating with homeowners that way, but the way that this works at tax sale is that property sell for more than the amount that's owed. Happens all the time. Anytime there's a property that's a standing structure, anything like this looks, it's not completely fallen down, it's going to sell for a premium over the taxes because the taxes are only 3 to 4 years. So in this case, absolutely thrilled owner because he got something out of nothing. When he thought everything was lost, he got something. So you can imagine how much happier he was. And that's why I say we're doing such good work and such important work, because people have no idea that there's money that's out there or available. And we made a great profit for ourselves. As a matter of fact, we made more money than Yahoo who bought it. Anybody who paid $150,000 for this property and then puts $35,000 into it, you're into a $200,000 house for $185,000. I mean, honestly, you may as well go make offers through realtors and just, lowball people a little bit and you'll do fine. So anyway, that's the way that this works at tax sale. Anytime you're at a tax sale and you see third-party bidders going back and forth where someone wins, chances are there's a pretty sizable overage there. And by the way, with the sizable overage, we get lists of it. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. We don't go to sales to get lists. We actually get lists from the government. So just moving on here, I like businesses where I get a big return for a small effort. I have a 3.5-year-old son. I love spending time with him. I'm very serious about being a father. I have a wife that I love and I love to spend time with. And I don't want to spend 15 hours a day working anymore. There was a time when I did that. That time, though, has passed. I now look for business opportunities where I make a big return for small effort. I don't want huge effort going out. So what I want to show you is what I would call a typical list. This is a list I compiled in about an hour. And on this list, if you worked a deal a month, so you signed up one deal a month, you could make $254,000 in a year. Or, of course, if you work more deals, you can make more money. And the more deals you do, the more money is available. And there's literally millions of dollars available. So let me just switch my screen here for a second. Here's the list I was talking about. This is a real list of tax sales. And I want to show you some interesting things about this. Now, these lists are typically provided in the form of a spreadsheet or a PDF file. This is a spreadsheet, so I sorted it into ones I want to approach from largest to smallest. And take a look at this. So Rebecca Julian had a property, 1415 Ridge Mill Terrace, probably her house. $121,000 sitting in the government accounts waiting for her to come and ask for it. What we'll get as a reward for that is $48,000. And again, this is negotiable. You can charge as much or as little as you want. And when we talk about fees, let me just give you some sort of boundaries. I think the most you can really ask for is half. I think, especially if it was a smaller overage, if you're down here at a $6,000 overage, I mean, you would ask for half just because of the amount of money involved. But typically we're charging 30 to 40%. I based that on what I did as contingent fee work as an attorney. 30 to 40% was something that just naturally came to mind. I wish I could tell you there's some more scientific thing to it than that, but there wasn't. So ours is 30 to 40%, just depending on the particular deal, depending on how large or small it is. It'll be a smaller percentage on a bigger claim, a larger percentage on a smaller claim. But anyway, I think the most you can charge is 50%. I think if you get over that, people just feel like it's unfair. If you say, well, you're owed $50,000 and I'll split it with you if I can recover it, that's something people may do. They might negotiate some, but they'll consider it. I think when you get over that, if you say, well, it's 60-40 to me, I think it's tough to sell that. And it's not necessary either. We have so many deals we could do. It's not necessary to jackpot on any one person. But just letting you know, you can charge as much or as little as you want. It is a free country. In our guide, we do talk about any fee limitations. Most states don't have any fee limitations on this. A few do. And so we describe those and tell you what they are. And frankly, the states with fee limitations, we just don't work in. But the vast majority of states don't have fee limitations. And again, for everybody who gets involved, I will give you that research. That research took us a lot of time, went to a lot of expense to do 50 states worth of research. So that's something that I give to people that invest in the course. So when you invest, I'll give you that research and you'll be good to go. But let me show you some other things about this list. So this tax sale of Rebecca Julian happened in December 1st of 2017. That's like 2.5 years ago. There's no way that Rebecca is going to know about the sale or learn about it. If she knew about it, she would have gone and gotten this $121,000. I mean, I don't know about you, but if I were owed $121,000 by the government and knew about it, I would be down at the office tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. waiting for them to open the doors to get my money. And so we can be assured that Rebecca Julian has no idea this money is there. So unless you or I or someone else reaches out to Rebecca, gives her the good news and signs her up and goes and gets the money, that money is just going to forfeit to the government. And it's pretty much the same for all these. If you look at the age of these, one of the things that we do is we tend to go after deals where the money's been sitting there for a while. That's where people don't know about it. Occasionally people do know about it and they go and they claim their money. But we don't want to worry about those folks. So we work on ones that have been sitting around for a while and where it's pretty obvious that no one's going to get the money unless we actually go and approach them. So that's one of the secrets that I'm going to tell you is work on older deals, work on ones that have been sitting around 6 months or longer, because they've been sitting around 6 months or longer. They don't know about it and they're never going to get the money. So in this one, when I said you can make $254,000 in a year, if you did these 12 deals, right? One a month, sign up Rebecca in July, Gertrude in August, Henry Michael May and September, and so on. Here's your finder's fees, and those add up to $254,000. It's pretty cool, right? And each one takes you typically 8, maybe 10 hours at the most for each deal, and $254,000. How would your year be if you only did that? And there's lots more opportunity. I'll show you another couple lists we're working on. This is a bigger list. This one bigger, I mean, just in gross size, but also in total dollar amount. Sometimes you see companies like Linda Lane LLP. What that is, it's not some big company like Bank of America, which is the one underneath that I'll talk about in a second. But when you see something like this, Linda Lane LLP, that's a couple of folks that try to do a real estate deal and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. Maybe it was a strip shopping center where their permits fell through or their financing fell through, or maybe the partnership had a fallout. Maybe, something happened. They didn't have financing, didn't have the money. Something happened and the deal was not completed and the land was lost. And you can see this land was lost in May of 2018. There's $161,000 left over. And let me tell you, for folks who've lost their property at a tax sale, they're going to be absolutely thrilled, tickled pink, and beside themselves that there's some money that's available. Just be beyond excited. So when you're giving two people who've lost everything on a deal some money back, they're going to be thrilled. And for Linda Lane LLP, they're going to be looking at about $96,000 on a deal that was dead. So don't be afraid of these. We teach you how to find the people that are involved, how to sign them up, whatever the technicalities are. Remember, I'm an attorney. I know all those. We'll teach you how to do that properly. And it's very simple, not hard at all. But also let me show you this one. This is an estate. So this is Ruthie D. Montague, EST, or Elise Benjamin, EST administrator. Those are estates. And estates are about a third of the deals where the person has passed away. The family doesn't pay the taxes. The family doesn't realize what happened. A lot of times it's where the one sort of ne'er-do-well in the family moves into the property, refuses to pay the taxes, refuses to pay the utilities. They get water liens and every other kind of lien on the property. And nobody else wants to pay the taxes either because that person won't allow the property to be sold. So when that happens, we end up seeing these at tax sale. And a lot of times there's a lot of money left over because these are usually paid off properties. So here for Elise Benjamin, there's $76,000 left over. That's worth $30,000 to us to find her and sign her up. $75,000 for Ruthie's estate, $30,000 to us. And that's cold hard cash in your pocket. If you just did a couple of these deals, if you did these 3 deals alone, there's $100,000 in your pocket. And if you treated this as, one a month for 12 months, well, the total there is $580,000. So, and that's not the end of the list, obviously. There's nothing to prevent you from working this next set of 12, and that gets you up to $845,000 in fees to you, getting close to $1 million. Or if you did this last set of 12, so you did 36 in a year, that's 3 a month. It's $1 million in your pocket. And of course, you can just keep going on. You can do this next set of 12 and get to higher amounts. And remember, as you do these deals, they're holding new tax sales. Every county holds a tax sale at least once a year. Larger counties, sometimes as frequently as weekly or monthly. So the list is constantly refreshing itself. And especially in today's climate, with all the economic turbulence we had, there's just going to be more coming in. So pretty amazing time to be in this business. I also promised to, when you saw this Bank of America thing, what happened with that is that Bank of America foreclosed on that property and then they didn't pay the taxes. And that happens. And, sometimes banks are a little disorganized, especially with foreclosures. And that's what happens. We don't go and approach Bank of America. That's not who we work with. We work with people. We work with, Evelyn Vinto and Catherine and Benjamin and Annette. We work with people who've lost everything. We help them. Can you imagine for, Annette loses her house. There's $97,000 available. She ends up for round figures with $60,000 in her pocket. Imagine how affirming that is for her as a person who's lost everything to suddenly have a $60,000 check that she can use to get started again. I mean, that's pretty life-changing, I would say, life-changing. And there are a lot of tears of happiness in this business because you help people who really felt abandoned and never would get anything. That's why I said the perfect person for this business is someone who just has a heart for helping people, but also wants to make a lot of money. And I'll just show you real quick. I have one other list. I'll just see if there's anything I want to talk about on this one. It's another list. And this one, tends to have larger leads on it. This is a big, big place. So, if we look at how many deals are sort of worth working, you can work all the way down to here, number 362. I probably wouldn't just because I'd stick with bigger ones. So we're typically working with $30,000 on up. So we would work this from number 203 on up. So 203 deals on this one list. And they're going to keep holding sales over and over and each month or week. This place, they hold them weekly. And you can see, you generate some enormous surpluses. And this one, this jurisdiction, the first 12 are worth $979,000, so almost $1 million. And you see, these are all older ones that we're working. So we're going to work ones that have been sitting around for a while, because when money's been sitting around for a while, people just don't have any clue about it. And we're doing so much good for people. By the way, these lists are held at the county level. These are 3 counties out of 3,007 counties in America. So it gives you some feel for what's actually out there. So anyway, let's get back to talking about how you can get started in this business and what this business can mean to you. Those lists are out there. We teach you how to get the list, and you get your own list, and you can absolutely crush it. it's very difficult for claimants to find this money without, you can't do a Google search on your name and find the money. It's just not the way it works. And I don't know technically why that is, but you have to get the list and then manually read through the list to see. And that's just the way it is. And I wish I could say that I thought that was just accidental. I don't. I think the government's perfectly happy if people don't find the money. Now, they're not aggressive about not letting people claim the money. They're fine with you claiming the money, but they're just not going to sort of make it easy. If they want to make it easy, they would make a team go find people, but that's not what they do. Instead, they're passive about it. People find it and apply, they get the money. If they don't find it, don't apply, they don't get the money, and that's that. The claims are large. You saw them. Claims of $20,000 and $30,000 are common. I mean, you look at this one, these excess funds, there are a dozen on that list. To even get to the $20,000 or $30,000 claim in this list, you have to be down to, just to get to a $30,000 claim, you have to do what, number 203. And to get to a $20,000 claim, you got to be all the way down here at this one, 296, 295, this one. It's pretty crazy. Look at that, 295. This is number 295 on your list. It's 20,000. So the point is, large claims of $20,000 and $30,000 are absolutely run-of-the-mill common. And at our rates of 30 to 40%, even at a minimum of 30% on a $30,000 claim, which is what we work on, that's a $9,000 payday for us. And that's significant money. Now, again, you set your life the way you want it to set. It's a free country. My suggestion is that big deals don't take any more time to do. They're not more stressful. They're not more challenging than small deals. It's all the same process. And I think that you help people by getting them larger amounts of money. So I tend to like the larger ones for that reason. And of course, I also like the larger ones because we make more money with them. So that's my balance, but you can find your own balance. And you get paid pretty quickly on claims. I think it's reasonable to expect to get paid in 3 to 4 months on a claim. These are bureaucracies that they run at their own speed, but I think that's a reasonable expectation, is 3 to 4 months. Some will be a little faster, some will be a little slower. What we tell the claimants is, it's a legal process, so 5 to 6 months on claims. We say that just so that when we overperform and we get them their money faster, they're thrilled. Or if something gets delayed a little bit, we don't want people hounding us saying how badly they need the money and begging and crying. So that's my suggestion. Reality, you should get paid in 3 to 4 months on most claims. Also, there's not much competition in this. I know that's probably surprising because it's such a lucrative, amazing business, but investors at tax sales simply don't think about what happens to money generated from tax auctions. They're there bidding. Once they get a property or two, they run out, they get the locks changed, they put insurance on it, they get their contractor over, they do that whole process. So they're not sitting there thinking, wow, they sold 20 properties today and they collected $2 million. I wonder what they're going to do with all that money. That's not what they're thinking about at all. What they're thinking about is, I've got my next deal. Let me go and get started on this. This is so exciting. I got a money opportunity. So investors aren't thinking about it. And this thing is really too little known, too obscure, too expensive for a do-it-yourselfer to just go figure it out. When we did the research in all 50 states, on average, it took 10 hours per state to do all the research, meaning 10 legal hours of research. And even a cheap attorney, you're talking about 10 hours at $300 an hour for a cheap research attorney, and that's $3,000. And then you've got to put together a paperwork package, to have people sign. So even if you had like the world's fastest attorney, we have a dozen forms that we use on a regular basis. So you're talking about 12 forms. If they did them an hour a piece, which would be miraculous, but let's say they did, that's $300 per form. That's $3,600 worth of forms. And those are forms that are not tested. That's your first try out of the box. So, this is something someone's would spend thousands and thousands of dollars just getting started on. And that's just not the kind of investment people are going to make. So when people do it, they're going to do it through us. And if they don't do it, they're not going to do it. So it's really, interestingly, not much competition. And one of the biggest pieces of evidence I see for that is just the claims. And when you look at these claims, these are large claims and they're old. These are large claims and they're old. You look at these. These are large claims and they're old. You look at the ages on them. So the point of that is that if there were a lot of people doing this and it was too much competition, you wouldn't see any old claims, especially not old large claims. You might see old small claims, but you never see any large old ones because people jump on them and be getting the money. So it's really an interesting opportunity. And I expect this to be a good opportunity for a long time. This is something that very few people are doing relative number of tax sales, relative number of opportunities. So it's a great time to get in this. So a lot of people say, wait a minute, what about mortgages? How do those come to play? Well, first of all, most properties sold at tax sale are free and clear of mortgages, because mortgages get stripped away by the tax sale, meaning that the mortgage is no longer a lien on the real estate. And that's, sort of real estate 101. When properties are sold at tax sale, they come free and clear of mortgages. Mortgage companies know that, so the mortgage companies will keep up with the taxes. Even if the person's not paying the mortgage company will keep up with the taxes to make sure they don't get their mortgage stripped away. So most of these properties are going to be free and clear of taxes. Now, for the ones that are mortgaged, let me be clear, and this is one, I remember I said I'd give you the good, the bad, and in between. For the ones that are mortgaged, there's no doubt the mortgage company can come and claim the money to pay off their mortgage. Now, they can only claim the amount that they're owed, but they can claim the money to pay off their mortgage. So they can be a problem. So what we do is we avoid the mortgage properties. It's very simple. Remember I said to you, wait at least 6 months before you go and work on these things? That's one of the reasons behind it, because if a mortgage company knows about it, they're going to claim the money immediately. They're not going to claim it, 6 months later. They're going to work on it immediately. So if you work on deals like these that are at least 6 months old, then if the mortgage company was around, it would have made a claim by then. And it's not suddenly going to pop up. So that's how we avoid it. Every once in a while, you'll have a mortgage company pop up and there'll be a problem. And the good thing to realize about this business is typically you're going to spend 8 to 10 hours on a deal, $60 to $100 between mail and we send a person out to get the paperwork signed. So that's typically $60 we pay them. So maybe $100 per deal. So for the ones that fall through, you have a couple of hours and $100 into it. Now, most of them will sail right through and do fine. So, that's kind of the trade-off. So the way to do this business is to just let things age 6 months, number one. And number two, load your pipeline. Understand occasionally one will fall out, but don't worry about it too much. It's going to cost you $100 and a couple of hours, and just keep your pipeline full, and it's absolutely fine. You don't buy every house that you look at for a fix and flip either. So in this business, you're going to have some fallout, but don't worry about it because you have minimal amount in and minimal amount of time and money. And that's pretty perfect. So I do think this is an ideal business. I think it's an ideal business because you do well by doing good. You help other people and you make a lot of money. You're going to help people who lost everything and you're going to make a great living. It's a super, super combination. So let's talk about how you're going to be doing this business. Step one is you need a targeted list of the people owed the money. As an attorney and a professional in this business of overages, I know how to do this, and I'll show you how to get the list. For the most part, it's as simple as either a Google search or sending an email to the right person, asking for the list, and they attach it to the email and they send it back. It's very simple. Most of the lists are free for the vast majority of them. For the ones they charge you for, typically they're charging you $1 a page for copying, and they have you send a self-addressed stamped envelope and a check or money order for $3 or $4 and a self-addressed stamped envelope, because the lists are typically 3 or 4 pages long. So it's pretty simple and inexpensive, but for the most part, they're free lists. They just attach them to an email and send them back. So when you get involved, I'll teach you how to get the list, who to ask, how to ask, sort of the special words to ask. And it varies by state. The person who holds the list is typically different in each state. So I'll tell you by state who holds the list and who to attach or who to talk to. Second step, after you get the list, you got to locate the former owner, because we need the former owner's cooperation, because we're working with them and on their behalf to go and get the money. So we'll show you how to find those former owners who owed the money right online. It's fast. It's 15 minutes on the internet. It's pretty straightforward. And I think a reasonable expectation for this is you should find pretty easily 60 to 70% of the people using the systems that we show you. You're going to have a fallout of 20 to 30% where you're not going to find them. And don't worry about it, because again, the lists are so big. If you took even this list, if you found 2/3 of these people, that means essentially we're finding these 8, or we're finding 8 out of the 12. So it's still plenty. It's plenty. And same thing here. You can imagine if you found 2/3 of these folks, which is, out of 12, it would be 8 out of 12. So plenty of money. If you found, I guess it would be these first 8. So you'd find these. And I can actually add these up. If you found these 8, then you'd make, let's see, we can see the math at the bottom. Yeah, the sum, $454,000 is the amount down there. So if you found those eights, $454,000. Anyway, you get the point. You're going to find about 60 to 70% of them using our systems. And once you find them, you got to get the owner to work with you. And we'll show you how to contact them using the right messaging, the right words, and you do it by internet messages. I say internet messages, not just email. It can be Facebook messages, it can be LinkedIn messages. So just generically internet messages. The phone, I think the phone is just the most wonderful thing in the world. The phone is sort of the best way for this business. It's very straightforward, very simple. Just pick up the phone and before you know it, you have a deal. And of course you can use US mail too. Postal Service for 50 cents will deliver a letter anywhere in the country. So you can do a combination, which is we do, of internet messaging, phone, and mail, and you'll get people to sign up. It's important that you give the right message. So we will give you the right message to email. We'll give you call scripts to use for the phone. Literally just read them and it gets you, it marches you to a yes because it answers all their questions. It tells you how you do it or what you're doing. It doesn't tell them where the money is. Sometimes people wonder about like, well, why don't they just circumvent you? These people don't know where the money is, and we don't tell them where the money is until after they're our client, they've signed up, and we're doing the work for them. For them, we're not telling them where the money is. So we'll give you messages to email, it's simple cut and paste. We'll give you cut and paste letters to send out in the US mail so that the people will be eager and excited to work with you. And then there's what I call step 3.5. That's securing your fee. And that's where you can either receive thousands that you've earned, or you can lose it all because you didn't know what you were doing. So as an attorney, I've written agreements to secure your fee and lock it down. So when you get involved, I'll give you those contracts to lock down that deal. And these are powerful, but simple, easy to use and easy to understand contracts, but they're very clear and they make it clear that you get paid. And most importantly, we structure the deal so that the money comes to your business account, is deposited there, and then you forward their portion onto them. That way you don't have to beg anybody for money. You don't have to hope that they pay you. Instead, the money flows through your business account. You take your portion, you pass them on their portion. And very, very simple. And I've structured it that way. I give you the appropriate agreements to do that and structure it. And here's an insider secret. You don't have to go meet owners. We have locals that will meet the claimant, get the papers signed, and overnight them to you. Now, these are not my employees. They're independent contractors. So we'll show you how to get these same folks to work for you. That lets you work from home, work in the best areas because, there are some states that are better than others, obviously. And you'll be able to work anywhere because we have people that will go out, meet with people in their home, get all the papers signed, and mail back an original copy to you. And this lets you have a great lifestyle and a great business and not have to leave your house, which is pretty amazing. And, during this lockdown time, I was living in New York City. I took a look in our building and there were 330 units and there were 4 elevators. And I thought, I'm not going to be there with my family. And I thought this is not a good environment. So I have a second home in Puerto Rico that I went to, and I have a beautiful place right on the beach in Puerto Rico. And I said, let me go down there and I'll ride out this coronavirus here. And the cool thing about it is that it didn't slow my business down even one iota. Because I'm just calling. It's my cell phone still works. I'm able to call people. So you really can work this business from anywhere. And you can have a great lifestyle. If you wanted to live at the beach, you can live at the beach. It doesn't have to be here in Puerto Rico. It can be in Florida or Texas or anywhere else you want to be. If you want to go get in a motorhome and travel the country and see all the great parks, you can do that. And you can do this business from there. It's really pretty amazing. So to review the process, because I went over that relatively quickly, it's very simple. You can get the list of people owed money. We'll show you how to do that over the internet or on the phone. It's very simple. You locate them online. We'll give you the tools to do that. We don't have our own in-house tool. We have tools we recommend. The one that we think is the best costs about $15 a month for unlimited usage. And that's on a 6-month basis. So you spend $90 and you get 6 months worth of unlimited searching. So you locate them online. You'll contact the folks with our message. And then you'll send the service out to get the paperwork signed. It's a really simple, linear 4-step process. And of course, then there's a 5th step. That's you get paid, you get your check. So you do, I guess, technically have a 5th step. But this is a very simple, linear, straightforward business. And that's the kind of business I like. I don't like things that are too complicated. I think when things are too complicated and convoluted, they tend to fall apart. This is very simple and straightforward. Simple business with fast payouts, perfect in today's market, especially because we're going to have more tax sales and more properties lost. There's no question about it. And people at tax sale that are already behind, 2 years in their taxes and headed for a third are headed for tax sale. And the economy's gotten tougher, not easier. So we're going to see more properties sold at tax sale than ever before. And this can be completely work at home. No need to leave your home or your office. It's pretty fantastic. And when you get involved, maybe you'll be like Bo. This is a young gentleman who just rocking it. I mean, he's done, since he started, 6 deals, $340,000 that he's recovered, $102,000 in his pocket. And no wonder he's smiling. And I'm really proud of him because he took this on. He took our training, he made the calls, signed people up, and off he goes. And he's a young guy just crushing it. And he's having a great time. So I'd love for you to be my next, Bo story. Or maybe like this. This is one of my favorite guys, Melosi. Melosi's an interesting guy. He's actually from Hawaii. And he shows up at a live event we were doing in Las Vegas. And I do occasionally do live trainings. Obviously that's diminished right now. But so we were doing a live event in Las Vegas, and Melosi just shows up, and he wasn't registered for the event or anything. So my staff said to him, you're not registered. And he said, I know, I just wanted to stop by and just, show Bob this deal that I did and all this stuff. So I said, okay, well, we'll catch him when he's on a break. So I got a break, and my staff comes, hey, there's a guy who wants to talk to you. He has a check and he's all excited. I said, great, let me go catch him. So I catch up with Melosi. He has this check for $356,000 in his hands. And I said, what is this? And he said, well, this is overage deal I just did. He said, this is the 5th deal I've done. He said, I was so thankful. I just had to come here and thank you personally. Like, you flew from Hawaii to thank me personally? He said, yeah. And I said, God bless you. Thank you. So anyway, I was talking to him more about a story. So he said he's working on big deals. And as I said, there's just more money in big deals. It's nothing more or less than that. There's simply more money in big deals. So Melosi did this deal. He's keeping $124,000, which essentially means that the person he's working with is going to get about $220,000, which he said they're absolutely thrilled about because they thought everything was lost. And he's making $124,000. And as I said, it was his 5th deal. And I said, tell me about the other deals. And all the deals are large deals. And he said, the first deal, he said, I just paid off my credit card debt. He said, it was such a burden and it was bothering me. So I just paid it off in one shot. He said, it was just so thrilling. He said, the second deal, he put some money in the bank. He said, I just put savings in the bank. And he said, then I felt just much better or more confident. And he said, the third deal, I paid off my house. I'm, whoa, nice. He said, the 4th deal, I put more money in the bank. And he said, this is my 5th deal. And I said, yeah, so what are you going to do with it? He said, I'm buying my daughter a house with the money. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And his daughter is a young, as a matter of fact, I got a picture because afterwards he sent me a picture of them in the house. So his daughter is a nurse, young woman, and they have a little guy who's 1.5 years old at the time of this picture. And Melosi bought them a house, and the husband too, but the husband's not his son, so the house went in the daughter's name. So anyway, he bought them a house, and beautiful little craftsman style house. I love it. Obviously, it's not a mansion, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Can you imagine this young family who has a house free and clear that usually it takes people decades to pay off their house and get it free and clear? They have their house free and clear, and you think about the sort of change in their life. The young couple's not all stressed out, little guys not having to live through like a stressed out family and stressed out parents. Instead, these are 2 people, well, they've got their house, it's paid for. And it's pretty amazing. And how would you like to be able to do that for your family? And that's the kind of thing that having money can do for you. It can have you do amazing things. It can empower you to do amazing things for your family or for things and causes that you care about. And that's why I said this is a great business for people who want to help other people. And I think good-hearted people that get thrilled by helping, like in Melosi's deal, he got $124,000, right? But the person got the difference between these two, which is about $220,000. So he gave, let's write down the number, $220,000. Sorry about my bad writing. I have to use the mouse to write that. So $220,000 went to these former owners, which is fantastic. And as long as you're happy with that, and you're happy that you can take $124,000 That's pretty thrilling. So anyway, I would love to hear some more stories like this. This made me so happy. I was so happy Melissa took the time to fly from Hawaii to Las Vegas. It's pretty amazing. And other of my students really do some amazing things. I got this email last month that what I saw in the email was this picture, which is an interesting picture. Because I looked and said, what is this picture? Because I meet a lot of my students, especially when we were doing a lot of live events. I met a lot of my students, and she didn't look like any student that I recognized. And I thought, why is someone sitting there in a old battered, looks like truck probably, in a Walmart parking lot? I'm like, this is interesting. So I read the story, the email with it. It was one of my students who said, I just had to share this with you. I recovered $25,000, and this is exactly it, $25,250.29. And it was for this woman who is a woman of a certain age. No one asked her age because it's just too impolite, but let's say she's well into her retirement years. What happened was she lost her house at tax sale, ended up homeless, living in the Walmart parking lot. And that is horrible. And this is in Nevada. And my student found her, thank heaven she had a cell phone, contacted her and said, hey, I can get you some money, and got her $25,000. Now, my student gave her the entire check. This was a pro bono case, meaning no charge for it. And we do that in our office. My students do it sometimes. You're certainly not required to, but it's a really nice thing to do in the right circumstance. So this homeless widow, who's obviously well into her retirement years, living in her truck at Walmart, can you imagine what a difference $25,000 makes to her? And think about it, $25,000 to her. Pretty amazing. And I was just so proud of my student. And I would love, again, to have pictures like that. We get pictures in our email all the time of checks and of smiling people like Bo, smiling people like Melosi, and smiling claimants. And I just really think it's amazing. And I was so thrilled to be a part of it. And my part of it is I taught my student the business, and she went off and helped this homeless widow. And I just think it's great. And that's why I think this business, again, it's for people who really sincerely and truly want to help people and want to make a lot of money. So how would you like to be a part of that and tell your friends or your snotty brother-in-law about that? Ha. So anyway, what would your life be like if checks like those were yours? I mean, maybe, just maybe, and this is a big hot spot for me, maybe just want a big fat piggy bank with savings. Maybe that's it. Maybe just, have money in the bank. There's a great comfort in that, because we don't know what life will bring. And we've seen lately, we really don't know what life will bring. And this is the kind of thing you start doing these deals, just to these first two deals, that's $80,000 in your pocket. How'd you like your piggy bank to be $80,000 fatter? Or maybe you have a son or a daughter or a niece or a nephew who's super talented, has worked really hard in school, and they get into MIT University. And anybody gets to MIT for the Sloan School of Business or for engineering, they are going places. And that alumni network and all is amazing. But when you look at it, you realize that it costs, upwards of $80,000, $90,000 a year to attend. By the time you're done with tuition, which at this point is like $60,000 a year or more, and housing expenses, $20,000 to $30,000 by the time you're done. So let's call it $90,000 a year. Well, that's a big commitment over 4 years. Over 4 years, that's $360,000. That is crazy money. But let's talk about that. You have this wonderful, beautiful young woman with such a bright future. She gets into MIT. Do you want to tell her, no, I'm sorry, we can only afford the local community college? No, you don't want to do that. Get out your overage list. So, let me move this up so we can see the addition at the bottom. Let's say we need $90,000 for freshman year. So if we did these two deals, I'm going to do these three. So we're going to do these three deals. And we're going to have, we see the sum in here, $115,000. So we help Rebecca, Julian, Gertrude Kulik, and Michael Henry May. So we help these three folks make $115,000. And guess what? Freshman year is paid for. And you know what we can even do, because we have some extra money? Let's buy her a nice car, like a certified pre-owned Toyota Corolla, that's going to get her through all 4 years of college really nicely. It's under warranty. If anything goes wrong, it'll get fixed. It's going to get her reliably back and forth, and it's going to get her into her first couple of years of work too. So let's see that. So we spent the $115,000. He said, but Bob, sophomore year is coming. I know. We need $115,000. So we did these 3 deals. So let's do these 3 and see how we are. Okay, we're gonna have to do these 4. So we do these 4 deals. We make $93,000. So we got enough money, and we helped Florella, Wayne, and Norman, and Wanda. And we've just paid for freshman and sophomore year at MIT University. Holy crap. You say, Bob, junior year. I know. Let's go to this list. Let's make our life a little easier. We're exhausted from all these overages deals. We've done 7 of them. So let's help Evelyn Vinto, $93,000 in the bank, junior year paid for. And then you smart whippersnappers out say, wait, Bob, senior year is coming. I know. So we're going to do these 2. Catherine and Linda Lane LLP, here we come. We make $131,000. So you know what we get to do? We're going to do those 2 deals. We're going to spend $90,000 for college. And at the end, we're going to have a big family trip to celebrate our little beauty's graduation from MIT University. We're going to take a trip. It'll be fabulous. Wherever you want to go. You want to go tour the great cities of Europe, go do that. You want to go down to Cabo San Lucas for 2-week blowout, do that. Because you have like $30,000 to spend. And then you get this beautiful young woman set up in her new apartment, set up for her new life, and life is good. And you did that with like 8 overages deals. How amazing is that? So life can be really amazing. You just have to spend your time on the right things where you can actually make some money. Or, maybe it's summer. Maybe you want to get a boat for the lake. There are great deals on boats right now. I spec'd out this boat. Boat was like $52,000 with everything I wanted. Really that's these 2 overages deals, and I've got $83,000. I have enough to buy the boat, the trailer, a slip to park it in for the year, taxes, title, registration, and everything else you could want, and even costs for the season. Or maybe you just want to go on a nice vacation, plan a vacation. And I know right now we're not going to do a lot of traveling, but maybe this Christmas, maybe you'll plan an all-inclusive family of 4 vacation, because these are things that family memories are made of. You can imagine just sitting there in that hammock, just swinging, hear the wind through the palm trees, just rustling. You look over your shoulder and there's your spouse just smiling, reading a book, relaxing. Hear off in the distance your kids, your grandkids giggling and laughing and just having fun. And it's, all-inclusive family of 4 for a week, probably $10,000. You get a really nice one for $10,000. And that's like, you'd be doing like this deal. There you go. It's deal number 9 on the list. And done. 1 overages deal, 1 beautiful family vacation that you will remember forever. Put those pictures up in your mantle. And nice thing about a vacation like that, there's no stress because you're not, stressing about how am I going to pay for this, or it's all on the credit card and I'm going to have to work for months and months to get it back. No, 1 overages deal, done. So here's how you're going to get started immediately. You're going to get the course due to 3 to 4 hours worth of training that it takes. We're going to show you the areas to target, how to get the records, find the people, and request the money. Literally, it's reasonable to get involved this month and get your first overages under contract next month. And it's inexpensive to get started. Your investment is $14.97. That's a one-time investment. There's no continuing or monthly fees or anything like that. Just one-time flat fee, $14.97. And really easy to make that pay back. It's essentially free after you recover 1 small overage of less than $5,000, because a $5,000 overage, even at 30%, is $1,500 you paid for. So you could easily just try this. See if it's for you, see if you love it. I think you will, but really easy to get it paid off for you. So it's simple to get your payoff. Now, we also have a payment plan if that's easier for you. You can do 1 payment of $14.97 or 3 payments of $5.97. The reason that you might notice I'm good at math, and you might say, wait a minute, Bob, $5.97 times 3 is more than $14.97. Yes, I know that. The reason that we charge a little more for the payment plan is it's more work for us. Sometimes people's credit cards or debit card doesn't go through the second charge, and we got to go chase them down and get a new number. It's just a nuisance. So if you'll make it a little easier for me, then I'll make it a little less expensive for you. But if you want to do the payment plan, you can. We don't treat anybody any different on the payment plan. You still get full access to the course. You still get everything. And just 1 payment now, 1 payment in around 30 days from now, 1 payment about 30 days after that. It's all automated. So it might be a day or 2 before or a day or 2 after 30 days, but it's all automated. So bottom line, though, it's everything you need to do this business. written quick start and comprehensive guide, plus online videos and forums, the best dates and all the rules in all the states, all the legal forms and scripts and resources that we use in our own business that you can use for your business. It's really, bottom line, it's everything you need to do the business. And that's really the bottom line to it, because it's what we use to do this business every day. We're also going to give you some bonuses. First bonus is a website. We program a website for you. The reason we do that is that you need a website to be credible. And it's not that people are going to find you from your website, but if you're talking to someone, you can say, hey, I know this might seem, too good to be true, which is actually our challenge in this business. It's just getting people to believe us. That's what we spend our time on, getting people to believe this wonderful news. And so we have to spend time talking to them. So you should plan on spending time talking to people. As I like to say, this is a good business for nice people. It'll work out really well if you're just nice to people. So give you a website, 100% done for you website. You just give us your information, you fill in a very short form, and 5 minutes later, like magic, the website will appear, and that's all done for you. All that you have to do is give us your information, like the phone number that you want people to call, what you want to name your business, like Bob's Refunds or whatever it is you want to name it. Just give us that, and you're going to reserve a domain name at GoDaddy or one of the other internet name providers. GoDaddy charges about $12 a year for a domain name. We can walk you through how to reserve a domain name. It's really simple. Just reserve the name, tell us what the name is, and we'll get everything set up for you. Second bonus, how to use virtual assistants for this business. A virtual assistant just means someone that works for you, but not in your office. I have virtual assistants that actually do most of the work. They get the list of people owed the money. They find the people. They contact them and they get the deal under contract. And you might say, wait a minute, Bob, if these guys are doing everything, they're getting the list, finding the people, contacting, getting a deal under the contract, why don't they just circumvent you and just do it themselves? Well, here's the thing. I'll show you how to divide up the work so they don't know enough to steal the business. And your job becomes coordinating and directing these folks. And I'll show you how to set that up. Basically someone gets a list, they give it to me. I give the list out to people that are skip tracers that find the people. I get the contact back, I hand it to our calling team that calls the people. So I'm at the center of everything, but I'm not doing all the drudgery. And I'll show you how to do that so that your job becomes coordinator and director. Third bonus, for everybody who registers now, I'll give you 3 hours worth of live training. I'll show you the system, we'll answer your questions on the program, and we'll do live Q&A to answer the questions. And I did record the training segment because I wanted it to be tight and concise and together, but we do the Q&A live. And it's either my head of customer support, Mike, on our other team. I'm on there part of the time, not there every time, but I'm there some of the times. Any questions that can't be answered, those always given to me, and then I'll answer them later if I have to. But our team answers those questions for you live. This is available only when you register now. There's absolutely no waiting list. The reason for that is that we have a student-teacher ratio that we need to keep. So if we get too many students, then I can't meet my commitment, which is to answer every question answered on every call. And if I have too many students, then I can't do that. Too many students versus the number of instructors. So the way that it works is once I get the list of people who say, yes, I'm in, you raise your hand tonight and say I'm in, I'll then staff that call appropriately. If I need to be there, I'll be there. I'll have Mike there and whomever else needs to be there. So we keep the right ratios so that we're able to answer all questions on the call. I wish that I could, just say, oh no, it's open till that we start the training call. It can't be, because if I got 10 people signing up at last minute, I would be short staffed. And we do these after hours. We do this at 8 o'clock East Coast time. So it's after hours, and I can't just call my staff in at 5 of 8 and say, oh, I need you on this call. That's not the way we work. We're organized, we're efficient, and we run a good business. So I don't want to ever not be able to meet my commitments. So if you're last minute Larry, last minute Jane, that's okay. It's just I can't have you on the live training. You can get the course, you just won't get live training. So for everybody who registers now, you're in the live training. If you don't register now, you're not. Most important thing about the live training is we answer your questions live. And that's important because sometimes just that one question that holds people up. And I want to make sure that you don't have anything holding you up and you're out there helping people and making money. Live training calls are 3 of them. They're scheduled for an hour, but of course, because there's Q&A at the end, it could go longer. So, you don't have to stay for the whole thing, but we'll stay as long as we need to do that. And the calls are recorded. So you can listen to them later if you can't stay for the whole call or you just want to listen to it again, that's fine. But the classes are strictly limited to those who register now so that I can meet my commitment to working, to helping people. And all I can say about this business is get started now in this business. We get these checks and pictures of smiling people, and these are all my students that are succeeding in this business. And what's between you and success in this business? Just learning a pretty straightforward system and something simple, and just going out there and doing it. It's not, rocket science. It's not some difficult, hard thing to do. It's very, very straightforward. And, these are real checks that real students have gotten, and it's really available for you. That the guy that you just saw, George, who's one of my students, he's a guy, super guy. He lives with a woman who's a single mom. They're getting married, 2 young kids, and she's now going to be able to stay home from her work because of this and be home with her kids, which is a pretty amazing gift. And this business lets me stay. I work from home, and I have my 3.5-year-old who thankfully is in bed, so we haven't had to bump into him during this call. But it's wonderful, being able to do that. And, I'd love to see, again, your smiling faces with checks big and small, and just really crushing it and reaching your financial dreams. So I know that we're ready to do Q&A now. So let's pick up to start with some questions that were asked along the way, because I was doing the presentation, and we'll start with those. And let's do some Q&A so that your questions are answered, and we'll move on from there.
All right, Bob, we have a few questions here for you. The first one is from Pamela Fox, and Pamela asks, is there a point at which the overage is no longer available to the former owner? I guess, is there like any kind of statute of limitations or anything?
Yes, that is achievement period that I talked about, where the money's available for a defined length of time, and it varies by state. Typically it's 3 years, but it does vary by state. So that's why we did the state-by-state research. But once it hits that achievement time period, it's gone. It is a statute of limitations. The money can't be claimed. And most of this money is never claimed. Most of it just is cheats to the government. And that's the sad part about it, because you have people who've lost everything. And now the government comes and takes, just takes all the sort of spare change left from the sale of their house, which really represents a part of the equity in their house. So the short answer is yes, and that's the achievement time period. So for everybody who gets involved, we have a chart that just tells you in this state it's this long, in that state it's that long, because obviously it's important. You don't want to run out of time or be working on claims where they're not any longer claimable.
Helen Feeney wants to know if you know off the top of your head how long that period is for the state of Maine.
Maine is a short one. Maine is a year, so Maine is short. And that's just, Maine. And one thing I would say about Maine, perfectly wonderful state. Where you would want to work is the larger jurisdictions like Portland, Bar Harbor, places where there are more population. But a great place to work. But just keep that in mind as you work the business. Work the places with more population, because the more population has, the more tax sales there are going to be. Just because I think, as everybody knows here, it's just a function of how many people live in that place, because a small percentage of people lose their house at tax sales. They're very small. And so you want a place with a bigger population, like 60 or 70,000 people at a minimum.
So Harshadray Patel wants to know, does this also work in addition to tax foreclosure sales? Does it work for mortgages when they're—
Yes, very, very sharp question, Patel. And not to insult anybody else's question. Good question. Yes, the system works perfectly well for mortgage foreclosures. There's a difference the way you get leads, but one thing that's in the course that's, I guess, kind of a surprise or an Easter egg is we actually have all the instructions for mortgage foreclosures as well as tax foreclosures in the course. The primary difference between the two is that mortgage foreclosures, there's not a centralized list. Like you can't call, like the tax deed department or the tax assessor's list of all the excess monies you're holding. In mortgage foreclosures, it's not that way, because there's not one foreclosing entity. Maybe Bank of America one day and Wachovia the next day, and Quicken Loans the next day foreclosing. There's not one central list in mortgage foreclosures. So go ahead, and I'll just finish off one thing, because I think it's a great question, Patel.
For the people that attend either tax sales or mortgage foreclosure sales, this is something you absolutely should be doing, because you're there anyway. You're going to watch, whenever third parties are bidding and buying a property, there's an overage, because the bidding typically starts up at the debt on the property. So think about it. When you have two, independent bidders, meaning third party bidders going back and forth, that's an overage being created right before your eyes. And I'll just tell you a real quick funny story. So I, for years and years, was buying at tax sales and then buying at mortgage foreclosure sales. That's how I started my investing career. And I used to get frustrated because there were people that would come in and they would just pay way too much money, in my view. And I had this one guy named Newman that, it was funny because at the time, it's when Seinfeld was big. And if you remember, I had Newman, the mailman from downstairs. And this guy Newman would come in and he would bid like 85 or 90% of what I saw as the value of the property. I'm like, how does this guy even keep in business? But it did. And of course he would win when he was bidding against me. He'd get the properties, because I'm not going to pay 90% of retail value for a property buying a tax or mortgage foreclosure sale. What I didn't figure out, that I wish I had figured out, because I didn't know about mortgage foreclosures back then or tax foreclosures. I didn't know about overages back then. He was making huge overages that were just sitting there waiting to be plucked off the ground. And I'd say, we'll just go home grumbling and upset because Newman came again. But so everybody going there, you're going to want to just note down when the bidding goes high, much higher than the debt. And then you're just going to reach out to those folks, tell them the good news and say, I'd love to help you get some money back and get you restarted. And you'll crush it. So great question. I'm glad you brought it up, because you can do mortgage foreclosures as well as tax foreclosures.
Andrew Lorenzini is asking, as a general rule, how much should you set aside for taxes?
Oh, for your income taxes. Well, this year I would say, set aside 25% of what you earn. Next year, I don't know, who knows, but I would say set aside 25 to maybe 30%. Just put it in a savings account, deposit it quarterly with the IRS, and you should get a nice refund at the end. This is assuming, and on your group there won't be, but you're not in a high tax jurisdiction like Illinois or New York or those poor souls in California whose taxes can reach 50% of their income. But set aside 25 to 30%, you'll be fine.
Denise Kunzel wants to know how much you pay the person who goes out to facilitate the signing.
$60 typically.
Cassandra Patterson wants to know, how are people prevented from working the same list?
We don't need to, because what happens as soon as someone makes a claim, that thing will disappear off of the list. So you don't end up working two of the same things. Occasionally, I can tell you what happens with us. We call someone, they say, oh, somebody called me about this. And what they inevitably say after that, and this just makes me want to cry, they say, but they never called me back. They call like once and then they never follow up. And so for everybody on here who's going to do this, the money is in the follow-up, because you have to talk to people 2 or 3 times, because this is a crazy idea when you say to someone, hey Susie, I'm so glad I got a hold of you. You can actually claim $30,000 and I'd love to help you with that. And would you be interested? And it takes them a little time to adjust to that idea that there could be this huge amount of money waiting for them, waiting to be claimed. And so you end up talking to them a couple of times. That's why I said, it's a great job for nice people, because when you're nice to people, you just talk to them, you get to know them a little bit, establish some rapport, and then they'll buy in and say, hey, I'd love for you to help me with this. This is not a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am sale. It's not like, hey, we're having a special on siding today, and if you sign up today, you get 30% off. That's not the way this is. The way this goes, you're just nice people. You call, you're respectful. Say, look, I'm sure you could use some money, and you know it. You don't tell them, I know you're broke because you lost your house at tax sale. But you're saying, if you could use some extra money, and I could get you $20,000, and there's no risk to you. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't cost you a dime. If we're successful, which we expect to be, then we'll get a success fee for that, but you would take absolutely no risk in working with us. So super, super, business for nice people. So.
Denise Kunzel is asking, what is the percent of accounts that available to the number that actually finalized through to closing? And she also asked, why wouldn't it work out? Maybe you want to take those together.
Oh, sure. Okay. So when they don't work out, so I did a study of this because I was trying to figure out what causes things not to work out.
So number one, believe it or not, this is 40% of the time our deals fail. It's because we get the wrong person. We get someone, especially the common name. It's John C. Smith. And we call John C. Smith. He lived in the same town as the person who lost the property. And we sign him up, and then we figure out, oh my gosh, this is the wrong John C. Smith. And frankly, most of the time it's because we got John C. Smith Jr. instead of Senior. And that's good, because when that happens, we say, hey, you know what? I'm looking at this. This is your dad's money, not your money. Because this has to do with the property that was lost at tax sale. Do you think your dad would like to claim the money? And we found that almost every time the dad will sign up, because they've kind of done the pre-vetting. Like the son has decided that you're okay. It's going to sign up with you. And then you tell them, oh my gosh, this is from your dad's house. And, so we'll get your dad involved. So 40% of the time it's the wrong person. Other times it won't work out. Occasionally you'll have a mortgage company pop up out of the blue where they'll say, oh, we're owed money. That doesn't happen much, but it does happen sometimes. And so the way that I just suggest you handle this business, this is the way we do it. It's a pipeline. You fill up your pipeline and you get a bunch of properties or deals, sort of going down the pipeline. Some will fall off at the end. There's no question. Some will. Most won't, but some will. And the good news about the ones that fall off, you'll probably spend 6 or 7 hours on it total. You'll probably spend $60 for the notary that goes out to sign people up. And then you have a deal that didn't work out. And the deals that do work out, generally we're expecting to make $10,000 on average on them at a minimum. And the reason I say that, your sort of run-of-the-mill claim, like very ordinary claim, is $20,000 to $30,000, like just absolutely run-of-the-mill. And $30,000 to $50,000 is like many, many of them. And so we work on claims that are $30,000 and above. So if I figured I'm working on a $30,000 claim, and we typically charge 40%. I'm telling you 30 to 40% is the typical range. 30%, that would be $9,000. 40%, that would be $12,000 for that deal. So just figure average of $10,000 per deal. If you have ones that fall through and cost you $60 and 5 or 6 hours of your time, it's more than offset by the ones that take 8 hours and cost $60 and return $10,000 each. So just treat it like a pipeline business. It's something where you get one deal and you watch it like it's your little, most precious little egg that you're going to hatch. Like you have to do sometimes with fix and flips, because you may be funded for just one fix and flip at a time. Instead, load your pipeline in and just keep nudging them forward and you'll do great. So just fill your pipeline.
So Al Williams wants to know, have you ever had to prepay a person, like give them a deposit or a down payment to close the deal with them?
We've never offered that. I have some students that talk about that from time to time. I guess my natural sort of inclination with business, I like a business where I'm providing a service, like I'm doing some work and I get paid, a very good fee at the end, but I don't have a lot of money out on the street. I'm not a big fan of having money out there. I just, if you have a lot of money out, like say you started saying, all right, I'll give you $5,000 up front. Well, if you have 10 deals going, you have to have $50,000 out on the street waiting to come back. And I personally would rather just not do that. And, you can do that if you're funded for it. I wouldn't. I think it's not necessary. Interestingly enough, people don't negotiate with us much over fees, which is an interesting concept that I didn't expect when I first started doing the business. What they're trying to do is figure out whether they have anything at risk. And so an interesting thing is that if you get people to just believe that they're not taking any risk, like, hey, I may as well give it a shot. You're going to do all the work. You're going to put up all the money. And if it works out, I get a check. If it doesn't work out, I don't get a check. I'm in no different position than I was today. You got to kind of get them to just that point. It's like 51% belief. You don't have to give them money up front. It's not necessary. And Al, I wouldn't discourage you from trying different things. I would just really consider whether you want to have that money out on the street. And I personally wouldn't, and it's not necessary, but if you're very well funded, maybe it's a way you close other deals, but I don't think it's going to be necessary to do that.
I just have 2 more questions for you. Denise Kunzel asks, what if the person has died? Can an heir sign?
Yes. Oh, great question, Denise. Yes. So we handle estate cases all the time, and it's very simple. Any of the heirs that will inherit, like say someone had, 2 children, any of the children can step up and make a claim. Now, of course, the monies get divided, amongst the 3 children. You only have to sign up one of the kids. We have a whole structure to set that up, a whole process for signing up. You just need to get in touch with one of the heirs, sign them up, and very, very simple and straightforward process. So yes, great question. You have a smart group. Very insightful questions.
Of course we do. All right, the last question I have is from Harshadray Patel, and he's asking, what is the situation in North Carolina?
North Carolina is a 10% state, so go work in South Carolina or Georgia. You'll be better off. So North Carolina has limited the fee to 10%. So I'm not a fan because it's just, if I can make 30 or 40% somewhere else, I'll just go work somewhere else. So that's our preference. Florida
also means there's probably not a lot of people working it too. So
this is true. And when you have a state like that where there's a 10% finder's fee limit, you would tend to work on larger claims where it can be very worthwhile. And the other thing is really interesting about this, you saw the list, there's not that much competition. I know it seems strange, like you would think there would be, but there's not. And sort of the evidence I have of that is the claims that are sitting there where they're, it's like 2 years later and there's $50,000 sitting there waiting to be claimed. And if I get the list a month from now, there'll still be $50,000 sitting there waiting to be claimed. The only difference between the lists from month to month tends to be ones that just cheat and fall off the list, or new ones that came in because there's a new tax foreclosure. And the other thing is that I'm a little sad to say, but this is the way it is. I think we're going to have a huge avalanche of tax foreclosures. I just think there's no question about it. There's a lot of economic pain right now, and there's a lot of just people not making money, businesses failing. We also have the tax foreclosures, have been like on abeyance for a couple of months. And when they come back, it's going to be a tidal wave of foreclosures and a tidal wave of money coming to the system. And I say I'm sad about that because I don't do this business, out of joy for people who've lost their house. I feel like a doctor is like treating people like I'm not wishing there were accidents in the middle of the night so I had more business. But the fact is we're on the right side of this. We're helping people and we're kind of their last friend. We're the one that's going to help them get money back, which is why I said, to do this business, I think the right mindset is you're someone that wants to help people, like you're thrilled when you get people money. And you also, you want to make a lot of money for your family and yourself. And it works perfectly for that. It works perfectly. And the people that I don't even like to train are people that are just all about themselves. Like, I'm going to, get all the money. And that's not what this business is about. It's about really, truly helping people who have been just sort of left to the sharks and also making a lot of money. So you have a business you're really proud of, really excited to do, really excited to call people. You'll be smiling when you call people because you're calling with great news. And that's the person that I'm really looking for. So out of your group, that's my person.
Do you have a particular favorite state?
I mean, we have a short list that we give out. I mean, a couple of great ones. Georgia's great. Florida is great. Believe it or not, Connecticut is great. Even it's a little state, totally punches above its weight in tax foreclosures. I don't know why, but it does. So those are 3 great ones. We give everybody a short list. So there's a list of 18 states that we think are just the best, most overages, easiest to deal with, least amounts of headaches. You can do, actually, I just have an update that just happened. There's a case that I read today that Michigan is now going to give back overages money. The Michigan Supreme Court issued a ruling. They said they could no longer essentially steal people's money because what they were doing is they would just sell the house and keep all the money. And the Michigan Supreme Court said, you can't do that. You have to start giving the money back. So Michigan is going to open up. They're going to go back 6 years and they have to refund all the money for 6 years. So I can only imagine if you're talking about every tax sale for 6 years in Michigan that had some money left over, how much money is going to be there. It's crazy. So, that's that one. I have to actually change what I'm saying because Michigan has now opened up, and I expect Colorado is going to open up also because the same law firm that sued in Michigan sued in Colorado on behalf of these people that lost everything. So it's really interesting when you're in a business that's actually expanding like that rather than being pared back. So I'm really excited about people getting involved and making great money and making a great difference. So
that's all we have for you.
Okay, well. I just wanted to say it's been great being with you guys. Sorry that I couldn't be with you in person. I'll actually be in North Carolina in a week. And I'm sorry that no one gets to meet in person anymore. We all get to
So if people
Everyone
want to
can
sign
be
up,
together in person again. Hopefully. Oh, it's so overageswithtriangle.com is the website. And that's just, you'll go, that's an order page, just putting information. The training is delivered electronically. So you literally have it like a minute later, you'll have access to the training. Typically takes people 3 to 4 hours to get started. And getting started means you're going to be, you'll read through the list of states, decide where you want to like set your initial business up. And you can work in any state, but just you start with one place just to make your life not complicated. You'll get lists, and then you'll start doing skip tracing, which is finding the people, and then get on that phone and call people, give them the good news, and you'll be smiling. I actually had a student last week that called me up, and he calls on the support line. Every once in a while, I'm answering the support line. So his name's Moshe. He's a Hasidic Jewish guy from New York, and Moshe says to me, "Bob, they said yes." And I said, "Can I help you, Moshe?" And he said, "They said yes." And I said, "Who said yes? About what?" And he was so excited because the first people he talked to just said yes. Like there's no fancy log anything. They just said yes. He's like, "What do I do now?" I'm like, "You didn't get to that part of the book yet, did you?" He's like, "No, I just called." I'm like, "You get the Fast Actor Award?" And I said, "I'm glad to walk you through it." But it was so funny. And if you get stuck out there, by the way, we have great support. It's telephone and email, and we know what we're doing. We're happy to help you. And I do get entertained by those kinds of calls. Like, Moshe, you should have read like that chapter also. But I was just happy because he got his first sign up, and it's very cool. So I look forward to hearing about the first signups from your group. And it is really a fun business. When people say yes, first you have to like believe they actually said yes. And then of course you get nervous, say, "What do I do?" And then just give us a call and we'll help you out and make sure you get it submitted properly.
awesome. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. If you're looking to supplement your other investing ventures during this time, this is a great way to do it. And thank you, Bob, so much. It was a great, interesting presentation.
That's cool. And I'll see the people who are signed up. I'll see you on Monday at live training. So I'll be there and we'll get you started.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great
Good
night.
night.
Bye.